Hey, happy Saturday. John again. I just played a grid number 18. I'm going to play grid number 19 now. Grid number 18 was rough because there were only a few options for most of them. I struck out on National slash Expos Rookie of the Year. I'd said Gary Carter. I believe he finished second in his rookie season, but Andre Dawson was a pick that would have worked. Bryce Harper would have worked too, but then Bryce Harper was the only option for MVP for the Nationals. So if you'd gone that route, you would have gotten that one wrong, as a lot of respondents did. Um, so I didn't even get it right on the timed version. And I figured that there were so few choices, it wasn't worth playing the rarity version, so I bypassed that. It is Army Navy Day, which is one of my favorite days of the year. Went to the academy, so the Naval Academy, as did my sister, sort of family thing. So been a part of my family tradition for a while. So I guess this episode is brought to you by, or there it is, USA, because it's on the shirts they all gave us. This shirt is at least 15 years old, by the way. Anyway, that's why I've got that poster back there. Let's get playing. Let's play some Immaculate Grid. Let's hope for a better day and better game rather. Let's see, I gotta share the screen. And I'm gonna go previous grid, scroll. And so I'm gonna go timed version and then hopefully rarity version, assuming uh it's conducive to that. So play and go. All right, let's see here. Paul Wayner. Todd Ritchie. Gossage works here. Koufax. Burns. Jack McDowell. And let's see here. Bellinger has to have won. Yelich certainly won. And Frank Thomas. Get this one though. Bam. All right, 41 seconds is what I've got. Big score there of 280. Had some Todd Ritchie is someone I probably should have hung on to. He was real low there at 0.06. Paul Wayner is also pretty low. Wondering if I have the people to top it. Rich Gossage is kind of surprisingly high at 5%. He only played one season with the Pirates, which I wrote about in my book, Baseball's Most Fun Frivolities. It was one of the most significant single season stints with a team by a reliever in history, or so I wrote in my book. Cool. The rest of these were not particularly rare. There's only a few options here, but figure Fingers or Vukovic will be better. All right, so stop sharing and you get to see my face here for a second. And I guess that's the one here. This is yesterday's grid, going back to grid number 19. And let's go ahead and play. All right, so I know one person I've liked to go with is Terry Forster, who works for Here and Here. Dave Dave Lapointe probably, who I actually just saw. He was featured in a video. Man, I'm trying to remember who put it on. It was either it was a video about Deion Sanders and specifically his baseball career. They mentioned that Dave Lapointe played for the Yankees and thought Deion Sanders was a great teammate. So I was like, oh, okay, that's another team for Immaculate Grid. The winner would have been just gonna keep in the back pocket. I want to say Archie Vaughn also works for Pirates Dodgers. And I could use Forster down here and Lapointe here. Jeremy Burnitz will work here as well. Probably some other options that I'm just not thinking of right now. Here, I think you go with Vukovic. Of the three options, you got Burns, who was the majority. Raleigh Fingers is in the Hall of Fame. Vukovic was the Cy Young winner for that 82 pennant winning team for the Brewers. Takes 12%. He had a whip. His ERA is fine. It's like 3.3. He had 18-6 record. He had a whip of 1.5. And I think he had about 100 strikeouts. It's a very anomalous season to have won a Cy Young award, but he did. Worked out for him. Um, and then for Silver Slugger for the Brewers, I think the best option is Giovanni Gallardo, who won a pitcher Silver Slugger in 2010. He goes point 0.5. I want to say former Brewer Tim Leary won a Silver Slugger as a pitcher for the Dodgers in the 80s. He goes point 0.1. See, Fisk will certainly work for Silver Slugger for the White Sox. I don't know how low that's going to be. Thomas took near half. Albert Bell will certainly work for his 1998 season, 49 home runs, over 150 RBI. Believe he hit 328, if memory serves me correctly. It was a big year. Then he signed a contract with the Orioles. He had some deal. Albert Bell's deal with the White Sox was kind of fascinating because it was like a 6-year deal that he signed after all those monster years in Cleveland, but it had a stipulation that the White Sox had to keep him as one of the top three highest paid players in baseball. It was kind of I've never heard of that for any other player. In baseball, that's basically the essence of franchising a player in the NFL. But um, so after the 98 season, I know Kevin Brown signed a big deal with the Dodgers. I don't even think it was at his position. I think it was overall he had to be one of the top three highest paid people for the duration of the contract. So he opted out, I think because Brown's deal was a record at the time. It set the market. Um, and so Bell opted out. Um, and signed a contract with the Orioles. And that worked out pretty well for the White Sox because Bell ended up getting hurt a couple of years later. So, um, and also Bell was not a particularly good defensive player. And they were going to have to maybe think about moving him to DH, but they've also moved Frank Thomas to DH. They had Paul Konerko coming up. So Carlos Lee in left, Maglio Ordonez in right. For any number of reasons, it actually did work out that Albert Bell was able to opt out. Anyway, that's just a fun little aside. He might be the person we go with. I don't think Durham ever won. Remember, your Silver Sluggers start in 1980. Thinking about people from the 80s, Harold Baines is kind of a maybe for me. I know he won a slugging title. He had the most high slugging percentage in the league one year. I don't necessarily know if that's going to get him a Silver Slugger though, which is ironic. Um, Tim Anderson or Yon Moncada over the last couple of years, maybe. That's kind of in the back of my brain. Um, Not sure on Maglio. Not sure on Konerko. Feel very confident about Fisk and Bell. I'm gonna go with Albert Bell. He was there not that long, so let's see how he does. Takes 2%. Okay, I think that was better than Fisk. So I'm glad I did that lengthy explanation because I did ultimately go with Albert Bell. Cy Young, for the Dodgers, I think your best bet is the OG Cy Young winner, which is Mr. Don Newcomb, who also won MVP that year. Takes 3%. Your other options are, I did Koufax before, Drysdale, Hershiser, and Kershaw. Did I already say Kershaw? Yeah, whatever. I'm not sure. I'm rethinking that, but yeah. So Kershaw, Hershiser, Drysdale, and then Koufax, who I already said, and then I believe that is it. Oh, Mike Marshall. That might have been better. Mike Marshall also won a Cy Young award, and well, no, he doesn't work. He would work for Brewers and Dodgers because he played for the Seattle Pilots. Another fun fact. Marshall might have been better actually, because I forgot him just now. So that's an indicator that maybe he would have been better. He won the Cy Young Award in 1974, pitched over 200 innings. Um, as a reliever. I should clarify that. As a reliever, he pitched over 200 innings. For the White Sox, yeah, you've got McDowell. Esmella finished second in 2003. Um, and then early win, I think, is who I'm going to go with, though. Lamar Hoyt's another option. He won the year after Vukovic. I'm going to go with the early win. Takes 10%. Be interesting to see how that maths out. Um, yeah, don't know if I ever came up with a satisfying way to divvy these guys out. I'm trying to remember, did Don Slaught, he played for the Yankees and the Pirates. Did he also play for the White Sox in there? Not remembering. Aramis Ramirez works. Jeremy Brunitz works. Nigel Morgan works. Let's see. I mean, let's play to my strengths. So if I go Dave LaPointe here and I go Terry Forster here. Terry Forster, if you'll recall, has a 397 career batting average. Um, then I might have conceded one for the Brewers, but I mean this is my strength. So let's see if we can come up with a better Brewer example who also played for the Pirates. The ones I've thought of so far, Rams Ramirez, Jeremy Brunitz, they were both prominent with one of the team. I mean, Ramirez had a 50 double season with the Brewers, which is someone I should keep in mind next time 40 doubles comes up as a category. Um, Rick Cerone was not a Pirate. I remember thinking he might have been, but he wasn't. Jason Kendall, he'll work. I think that might be popular. Todd Ritchie was a good one. I shouldn't have blown that. Um, that's all right though. Let's see. Roberto Hernandez was never a Brewer. Francisco Rodriguez was never a Pirate. Um, Moise Alou never made his way to the Brewers. Was Vogelbach a Pirate at some point? McCutcheon's probably going to be the most popular, I'm going to say. Um, trying to trying to nail somebody down. Just trying to think. My Jose Hernandez, I believe, was a Pirate. He was an all-star with the Brewers. Um, just sort of going around the horn. One more time. Burnitz stands out to me, but Burnitz is a fairly popular brewer, I think. Yeah, let's try out Jose Hernandez. I think he works. 0.2. That was the right strategy. Play to your strengths, 0.2. I think that's going to be, I think Burnitz would have been about one and change. So early win and Pete Vukovic took the most. So just mathing it out, McDowell was at 67, win 10. So that means Lamar Hoyt was at 23. So that was the right choice. Looks like Fingers was at 18 if Vukovic was at 12. So that was the right choice too. So I made the right calls on these Cy Young winners. Not sure about this one. I think Mike Marshall might have been a better pick than Don Newcomb. But fun game nonetheless. Definitely get a bounce back after the previous game. Got a 42 second on the timed version. Pretty stoked about that. And I'll get this loaded. You all have a good rest of your day and beat Army. Peace.